You don't get it unless you stay. So Jess, oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. So I just want to kind of refresh like we do in Clubhouse. We were talking about Clubhouse and we're all just like obsessed and addicted to it. And Jess actually went out and just got a brand new iPhone because I was like, you have to get on this app. It's crazy. So I'm gonna refresh and just get you up to speed on who we're really talking to here. And that is coaches and consultants in early days in their business. Okay, that's kind of your wheelhouse. So we're going to speak to that and how you recommend growing, scaling their connections. Like, what kind of advice would you give young entrepreneurs starting out in the world of coaching and consulting?
Wow, that's a big question there. Um, the biggest thing really is finding somebody that's already done it and getting in their back pocket and learning from them. So if you can, and if you can't find anybody, go on YouTube, get some free videos, whatever you got to do to search out the information, books, audiobooks, um, basically research everything and just pile that knowledge and make your brain overload with knowledge in that topic. Um, I mean, there's a lot more to it, as far as running your company. But you want to try to, start lean if you can. Leverage other people's audiences if possible,
Mhm,
so that you don't have to break that ground. You can follow somebody else that's already done it.
mhm, mhm.
Those are, I guess, a few quick tips to get you started.
The big thing I
in-
heard you say was find a mentor. Like, don't
yeah.
try. I mean, I'll admit, I spent a couple 18 months just kind of going in circles, with ideas and never actually did anything until I got a mentor that was like, yeah, no, you're onto something. Just do this, ABC, right? Oh,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. The biggest breakthroughs I think I've, ever made were always followed by some mentor that I tied into that I was struggling in some area, whether it's processes, because I'm not a process guy. I'm a big dreamer guy. So I needed a person, to come in and show me how to stay organized and get stuff done, more efficiently so I could take my big ideas and implement them quicker.
mhm.
In the beginning, it was, like you said, it was me struggling to go through, studying. You can learn so much from a person on YouTube and so much from books and stuff like that. But when you have a coach, it really makes a difference. Not only the accountability of it, but also the not having to reinvent something, because they can just say, oh, I tried that really stupid thing you just thought of just now, and it didn't work. And then I'm like, oh, okay, here's what worked. And then you do that, and all of a sudden it works and you make a breakthrough. And
Well,
so
I
that
think
makes a huge difference.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs have shiny object syndrome, So when you look to too many different sources of information, you end up just not mastering any of them. Like, find one, stick to one. That's kind of been my game changer. Your big
Yeah.
your sort of platform is really about it, connections, like how to use your connections to grow your business with so much noise and social media. Like, I've just been like junking out on Clubhouse for the last few weeks since I discovered it. It can be a massive distraction, and everybody is talking about different marketing avenues, and it's the social media thing and the TikTok thing and the Instagram thing. What's your thing? What's the difference between that and building real connections with people and leveraging
Yeah.
connections?
Absolutely, yeah. At the end of the day, to get business and grow your company, you have to have those relationships. That's really the key. You can have vanity metrics all you want. You can have 7 billion followers, but if you aren't having actual conversations or interacting with those people in a positive way, or influencing them in a way to bring in traffic, to your website, or business to your pocketbook, if you're doing a service business, um, it doesn't matter. But I always tell people, do both. Why not have quantity and quality?
Mhm.
So some people have very few, people that they communicate with, and they'd say, if you didn't shake my hand, I'm not going to, interact with you. And I think that's kind of a shallow way to stay, average as far as your income. If you really want to grow, you need to have quantity as well, but you gotta not neglect that quality. It's kind of a catch, you kind of have to have both to really make it happen. So like for me on LinkedIn, I have over 28,000 connections, but really the ones that matter are the ones of the people that I talk to that are mentors, people that we can, partner with, people in my ideal clients, my dream clients, my favorite authors. Those are the people that I want to be networked with so that we can, grow together, and bounce off of each other and stuff. It's amazing if you so into people and you're kind to people and you build relationships and you serve people without asking or wanting anything in out of it. All of a sudden, the stuff just comes to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you take that conversation, you kind of go back and forth a couple times, you meet somebody and you don't sell them. You don't go, hey, buy my product. The first time they talk to you, you say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's that simple. Hey, how you doing? And then they say, oh, I'm doing good. How about you? Oh, I'm doing good. You see the game the other day, or whatever the common thing is. And you kind of build that relationship. And then you say, man, it's been great talking to you. Why don't we catch a 15-minute call and just see if there's any way we can collaborate on something? They're like, oh, sure. Why not? Yeah. And then you get on the phone call. And by the time you leave the end of the phone call, you're like, hey, how can I help you? And he's like, and he or she is like, hey, how can I help you? And it's kind of this, panic at the end of the call to who can help the other person the most.
How do you get paid then? Okay, so what's the next step? Because everyone's talking about this, and how to build the DM relationships, and get on the call. And I was just on a call today with a super awesome woman who's hopefully gonna I hope she's gonna be on the summit. She's a charisma hacker, and she was amazing. But her thing was just like, I just want to be your best friend. Let's just call, like, let's just have a chat. And it just took all the pressure off the conversation. It was a lot of fun. And but there's a moment where you've got to kind of, you got to have that little bit of a qualifying, like, hey,
Yes.
okay, so I'm always like, how can you help me? Like, please help me. I'm gonna lay down. I'm like, I think sometimes salespeople are the easiest customers. We are not afraid to buy.
Yeah. You have to ask questions, and when you start the conversation and you're talking to people, you're asking about their company. You might ask a question like, is there any areas you're struggling with that maybe I can add some insight to?
Mhm.
And sometimes they're like, yeah, I'm really struggling with, getting my message out there. You're like, oh, okay. And have you tried, writing a book and getting recognized that way? And like, I was thinking about it, but I haven't done it yet. Oh, okay. Do you need help with that? And a lot of times they say yes. Now I try to do what I'm trying to do is have a conversation, get to know them, and also kind of qualify them at the same time. And then if it makes sense, then we'll have another call with a more of a consultative time. But that first 15 minutes is really, kind of going, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What am I doing? Kind of comparing, contrasting, figuring out where the synergies are. And then if it makes sense, then yes, I don't pitch everybody, but I try to qualify them before I talk to them, if that's a trick. So the people I'm talking to, I've already done a search for them probably and narrowed it down that this is a type of person I'd want to do. So I already know it's kind of my client base, and then it's a matter of yeah.
So you know where you want to go going in. I mean, how much of your process do you have pre-organized? Like, like you're an author and a speaker, but really, like, when you work with a client, it sounds like you kind of let them lead and you fill in the gaps of what they need. But there's got to be this. I get overwhelmed at this because it's like, well, I want to narrow in on my genius zone, and maybe that expands later. But do you know what you're going to do with them going in? Like, do you write books? Like, what do you do? Like, what's your process, Jess?
It really depends.
That's what
Uh,
I'm getting.
yeah. So what I do is I target certain demographics of people that are going to fit with my target market, and then I kind of let the conversation go how it goes. And what I've decided now, this is my angle. There's, other people have different approaches, but I've become kind of a problem solver.
Mhm.
And so I talk to so many people that I literally have a list of like 15 to 20 different things where, we can do joint ventures with other companies. So if they come in and they say, hey, I need an AR thing, hey, I can take care of that for you. So, but I don't do AR personally,
What is
but
AR?
I know, virtual reality and augmented reality. So AR and VR.
Now I have
So,
to ask you, in what application do you use this in marketing?
so people wear those goggles and play game. They play games or they do virtual shopping, or there's different stuff you can do with it. So, and I'm just using that as an example.
Okay.
But because I don't personally do that,
Okay.
but what I do is I already have a relationship with the guy that does do that.
Right, right,
So
right.
now what I can do is I can say, yeah, we do that, and then I basically bring in my guy and he does it, and then we give the work. So what I actually do, my specialty is LinkedIn marketing, and publishing books. So we help people become bestsellers. So we do
Mhm.
press releases and all that stuff. So I'm qualifying them. What's their desire, and then I'm going to try to fill the gap of whatever they're looking for.
Mhm.
If they're looking for a job, I'm not the right guy, but you know what? Hey, why don't I introduce you to a person that does? Or you need credit card processing? Hey, I'll hook you up with the guy that does that. And then me and the credit card guy, we have a deal. If I get set up a credit card, I get a small little percentage of any profits that come off of that. But that's not my that's just more of the relationships side of it. My goal is to minimize how many of the people that I'm letting it go to other people by targeting them properly to begin with, and
Right,
having the right people talk to me. Now, people that find me organically, it's a whole different game. If they
right,
find me, then they're already wanting my product, and then it's straight into the sales pitch.
right,
Uh,
right. What
sense.
what is your marketing process? So like LinkedIn is kind of your what do you call that? Your go-to,
My baby, yeah.
your baby. Why LinkedIn? And how do you get organic leads through LinkedIn? Like
Yeah,
what are you producing content wise that compels people to connect with you?
absolutely. So it kind of goes back to my previous company. I did an education platform where I had people buy products and service, or excuse me, buy courses so they could learn. And I had trouble getting the right teachers. So that's how I discovered LinkedIn. I'm like, hey, I can send a message right to the right person. I don't have to go through a secretary, or I don't have to do anything. I just basically go on LinkedIn and I can look at it and say, okay, I want to talk to, John Maxwell. I'll send him a message right there. I did send him a message. He didn't get back to me, um, uh, but the point is, I could reach out to anybody I wanted to.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Um, and as I built my profile and optimized it and made it, shine, all of a sudden, some of these bigger people, bigger companies, and influencers and things like that would say yes. And then it just kind of self perpetuated, because once I connected to, I'll just throw out Bill Gates. I'm not connected to him, but I don't want to give out. Um,
The
but
audience doesn't
but
need to know that. Bill Gates, it's your guy.
yeah, he's my guy. But a couple influencers connected, and then I was able to leverage that. And then I reach out to new influencers, and they see I'm already connected to other influencers. And but by the time I done, we have, I'd say, I think over 250 influencers that we're connected to, a couple, 3,000 CEOs, because that was my target market, is high level executives that want to, get their brand out there and write a book, and that sort of thing. And so that's kind of who we targeted. And we were able to do that. And once you kind of establish yourself as, um, you know, a professional, they're more likely to connect to you. So that's where the building credibility, like writing a book. A lot of people like to write a book to get credibility, so that when they go talk to the Bill Gateses of the world, they're possibly going to get talked to back, because they have the credibility of being an author, for instance.
Okay, so as a young entrepreneur or someone just starting out who might be suffering from imposter syndrome, LinkedIn can be pretty intimidating. I am like I've been LinkedIn shamed. Okay, literally.
Oh,
Right? People who have like gone on LinkedIn and they're like, well, you don't really have much of a presence on LinkedIn. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm not the expert. I'm interviewing the experts. Like a girl's got to start somewhere. Give me a break. So, how do you kind of overcome and how long does it take to build up what you would consider a decent amount of authority on LinkedIn? And why would you choose LinkedIn? I'm going to ask like the trifecta question. Who should choose LinkedIn?
yeah.
How long does it take to build some level of authority without making up a bunch of bullshit? Because I feel like I would have to just make up a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Um, yeah, you know, so anybody that's looking for B2B typically is the best. Over 70% of B2B leads that are produced out there come through LinkedIn now.
Mhm.
And so it's definitely the easiest way to reach out to somebody. The problem is, you have to be the person that they want to talk back to.
Mhm.
So that's where you get into all this optimization stuff. It is easy to get imposter syndrome. It's like, who's going to listen to me? I'm just some person, on there. What you have to realize is you add value. Every person adds value in some aspect. And so how do you represent that on LinkedIn? So, you go on there, if you're working at, I don't want to criticize any location, but say you're a McDonald's, guy, and you're just getting started in life. Well, you're obviously, probably reaching out to Bill Gates isn't going to work right now. You got kind of going to have to build up that character a little bit, and so that's where you go, maybe you go mentor with somebody, or go ask. Gary Vaynerchuk, I think, had a cameraman one time that basically said, "Hey, I'll film you for free, just to get around you."
Mhm.
And so he, let him, and now he's his main camera guy, if I remember the story correctly.
Mhm.
But sometimes, a lot of times, if you go to somebody that you admire, that is approachable, in your local area or something, and just kind of say, "Hey, can I do some paperwork for free for you?" Or, just to get around that person and to learn from them a little bit to get going.
Mhm.
You don't have to stay there forever. But if you were, Bill Gates's, paper guy, you could put, worked with Bill Gates on, and, maybe word it different. Like, we, I'm the paper presenter person for Bill Gates.
See, that sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me.
The point is you're
Love
getting around Bill,
that.
but you're learning. That's the key.
Right,
You're
right.
getting around Bill Gates, and you can glean information and you learn. I've heard of, there's lots of people that do stuff like they'll get a Uber job in a high end area just so they can talk business and learn from people that are, coming off the airplanes and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So you got to figure out where you can get the knowledge and then go for that.
I think that's been one of the most valuable things about working with a mentor or a business coach. Um, it is 100% you get to see their methodology. You know, it's not when you take in things that you learn from your mentor and you use them in your coaching practice, it's not plagiarism. It's just, that's what mentorship does. You pass the torch, and I have a certain area of expertise, but I've been able to learn so much from the coaches that I've been working with, that's helped me like really kind of expand my toolkit in terms of strategies that I can use with other people that I'm not having marketing, a degree necessarily or before, but it doesn't take long for you to really kind of build up a lot of knowledge base just from working with people who've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
You gotta start where you are. And that's why, I said, for me, I kind of started with YouTube videos and other stuff like that. And then I went to a couple seminars that were, free, so I could learn a little bit. And then I kind of ratcheted my way up until I could afford a coach. And then I bought it. And then I've had, I think, 4 coaches now since then,
Right.
that I've hired, and spent, some good amount of money on to make sure I could grow and learn as a person. But so everybody starts different. So, but make sure you're growing every day, whether it's just,
Yeah.
if it's reading books, it's, jumping on Clubhouse if you can get access to it, and listening to a lot of these people that have already been successful talk, and just get that information in your brain, and then do the work. You can't just, learn stuff and not you got to implement what you learn to grow your company.
Mhm.
And then you got to start building credibility for yourself. So once you start learning from some of these, people, maybe you go to like Haro, that free help a reporter out thing, and get the messages from the reporters, and they ask questions about certain areas, and then you find the area that you fit, and say you start answering some of those, and then you get in a magazine, one time, and then you get better at it, and then you just kind of keep growing and growing and growing, and then you get a coach if you can get one, and then from there, you put the knowledge that you learned from your coach on your LinkedIn page, and say, here's what I've learned from my mentor. Leverage your coach to go to the next level. I mean, it's kind of a process.
So 0 to 10,000 in 365, is that what you figure it takes, starting from scratch, to really build a strong LinkedIn network? Is that even necessary? Like, what is that? I always look as a salesperson in terms of conversion. Like, what is a 10,000 person LinkedIn list worth to me in terms of deals that I can close with those people?
Yeah, and there's more to it than just the numbers. But the point is, when somebody, even if you don't have much going, if somebody looks at you and sees you have 10,000 followers on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
they kind of look at you a little different than if you didn't.
Mhm.
And so it does give you a little bit of credibility just having that number, but really at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What really matters is the relationships, like we talked about earlier, is building those relationships. But the point is, if you read my book, it goes through who you're connecting to. So your dream clients, your ideal clients, your mentors, the people that you want to reach out to those people, and from that, build relationships with those people, and and that leads to the business.
Mhm.
So um it I'm trying to think of how to word it so it sounds a little bit more impactful, but it all depends on what you're selling. It depends on, there's a lot of factors, but the point is, you need to have the right people that you're talking to first and foremost, but that quantity does help.
Right. Right. And then you have to follow up. Like, you have to
Yeah.
work the leads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice if you can work with like some sort of database or CRM or something, so you can track and stay on top. It's about staying, because it takes 7 to 10 impressions, basically, typically, for a person to trust you and want to do business with you. So if you can get a few through your feed, I treat it like a drip marketing campaign. So basically, I'm constantly dripping on those people, so they're always seeing my stuff. But then I'm also on the back end, I'm messaging them. I'm saying, I'm endorsing them for something. I'm maybe sending a message that says something about an article that's related to their industry, so that they have some value that I'm adding to them. So I'm doing this all along the way on the backside. And then I say, hey, let's have a conversation. They're like, oh, Jess, yeah, I know you. You're that LinkedIn guy, and you sent me that nice article, and you endorsed me for something.
That LinkedIn guy. You're that LinkedIn guy. That
Yeah.
sounds like a little bit, I don't know. That the LinkedIn guy that keeps DMing me. Stop
Yeah.
it. No,
Not the creeper one. No,
not the
no, no.
creepy one. Not the creepy guy.
No, the nice one, friendly one.
So
There's different styles that some of my contemporaries, that also are LinkedIn, they'll just send out hundreds of messages and say, hey, this is what we're doing, this is our product, if you want to connect, reach out. And percentage wise, you can make that work, but you turn off a lot of people in the meanwhile.
who is your ideal client? Just for who our audience is listening, in the so that they can resonate with you. Who would you want to work with in terms of
Yeah,
your area of expertise? What do they do? Where are
yeah,
they at in
absolutely.
their career?
So I go after two niches. One is I do consulting. So it's usually $2 million to $5 million businesses that are service based, that are looking to grow their company and scale. That's one avenue. And then our publishing arm that does all the publishing and LinkedIn and stuff. That's typically C-suite executives that are looking to get their name out there, because the biggest problem people have is obscurity. If they're trying to grow their brand, and if you can, you know, we kind of have a trifecta. I don't know if that's the right word, but
Mhm.
basically we help you optimize your LinkedIn so you look like you're stellar. We help you bring that out through press releases, book, being a best-selling author. Basically things to help build your credibility and help it so you're ubiquitous. So if somebody types in your name, the first 2 pages or 3 pages is just almost all of you and articles you've been in, and press releases you're featured in, and so we basically create the backbone of their personal brand.
So that's real. It's PR, right? Is that what you would classify
Yep,
as?
it's PR and LinkedIn, social media, all wrapped into one.
Awesome. Super interesting. Okay. Tell us about your very powerful, generous offer, 52 weeks to domination. What is that going to do for your
Yeah,
ideal client?
yeah. That is our course. It's 52 lessons basically that goes through and teaches you how to run and scale a company. And it's very detailed. It teaches you all kinds of things. A lot of things that are neglected in your business as you're growing it. It's some things like, how to upsell, downsell, cross sell, how to get your name out there, how to get customers that are already there in your store, in your store from your company, how to help have them purchase more stuff while they're there. It's basically, how to build a drip marketing campaign, how to get your message out so you stay top of mind. All those things are all wrapped up into this to teach you how to grow and then scale your company so that you can hit new levels.
Who is that for specifically?
Typically, that's going to be the business owners that are looking to scale up to $10 million.
Okay. So not from 0 to 10 million, but
No, that's the LinkedIn thing.
okay. Awesome. 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 Amazing. So that, you guys, is a $3,500 value.
Yep.
Amazing. That's awesome. Well, I'm sure that will appeal to a very specific demographic of our audience. So you guys take advantage of that. That's amazing. Thanks, Jess. Awesome. I'm going to wrap this up with you.
Awesome.
And I am really, really appreciative that you decided to come on the summit with us. 7-figure selling strategies that won't sell your soul. It looks like you got that part dialed up. Authenticity.
Definitely want to do that. No
No.
soul sell.
And you can be authentic in your LinkedIn and develop credibility even when you're still starting out. Yeah.
You can. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a lot of it's marketing and framing stuff, and yeah, I know you're kind of feeling like that's scary to you, but part, the thing is you have to have something to put on your profile, and so
Yeah.
you want to be honest, but also put it in a good light.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I'll
don't
get
you,
you to write
you
I'll get you
don't
to
make
help me
up.
write a book.
What's that?
I'll get you to help me write a book.
Yeah, I mean, writing a book it puts you in a new class. So
Right. Awesome.
yeah, yeah. You don't have to fake it. You just have to frame it.
Frame it. Get out there and do it. Get out there and make it. We're
Yeah,
creatives. Get out
you
there
got
and
to do the
make it.
work. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to do the work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Okay, Jess, thanks so much
thank you.
again. And we'll see you on the flip side.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Bye.